There is a specific vibration in the air right before your life undergoes a permanent fracture. Mei-Lin didn't hear it, but looking back, the silence in that Shanghai toy shop had become too heavy, like the air before a terminal storm. She was a girl defined by gaps. The gap left by her father's death 4 years prior, the gap between her paycheck and the needs of her mother back in the village, and the gap in her own heart that she tried to fill with plastic and porcelain. When you spend your days surrounded by toys, you start to believe that beauty is the only currency that doesn't devalue. You start to think that if you can just own something perfect, you might finally become unbreakable yourself. Then the shipment arrived. The Labubu collection. If you've seen them, you know they aren't cute. They have a jagged, knowing aesthetic, enormous, serrated teeth tucked behind a smirk that suggests they know exactly what you're thinking. Most are mass-produced, but Mei-Lin found the anomaly. A golden variant, but not the shiny, cheap gold of a prize. This was the color of a setting sun on a graveyard. It didn't reflect the light. It seemed to drink it. The moment she touched it, a cold needle of adrenaline shot up her spine. She didn't buy it. She claimed it. That first night in her apartment, the atmosphere curdled. Her dog, Bayo, a creature who lived for her touch, didn't bark. He retreated. He backed into the kitchen, his claws clicking erratically on the tile, his eyes fixed on the shelf where the doll sat. He wasn't guarding her. He was mourning her. Mei-Lin ignored the dread. She took photos of the doll, obsessed with the way its blue eyes seemed to track the camera lens. But as she scrolled through the images, she saw something the naked eye missed. In every photo, the doll's reflection in the window showed its mouth open wider than the physical doll's was. She woke up at 3:14 a.m. to a sound that shouldn't exist in a modern city. The sound of wet, rhythmic grinding, like bone against stone. She didn't turn on the light. She couldn't. The darkness in the corner of her room was thicker than the rest of the shadows. It had a shape tall, spindly, with joints that popped like dry wood. It wasn't standing. It was unfolding. She felt a weight settle onto the foot of her bed. Slowly, the mattress depressed, inch by inch, moving toward her chest. A voice, sounding like her own but stripped of all warmth, whispered a single word into her ear. Mine. The next day, the infection took hold. Mei-Lin, the girl who sent every spare cent to her family, found herself filled with a sudden, scorching resentment for them. When a customer asked for help, she didn't see a person. She saw a target. She felt the doll's influence like a phantom limb, a secondary nervous system twitching inside her. By noon, she was fired. By 1 p.m., she was laughing about it on the bus. A sharp, jagged sound that made the other passengers move away. When she got home, the silence was absolute. Bayo was gone. Not ran away, but evaporated. There was no blood. Just a single golden tuft of fur sitting on the kitchen counter next to the doll. The Labubu wasn't on the shelf anymore. It was sitting in Bayo's bed. And it was warm. Panic finally broke through the trance. Mei-Lin grabbed the doll, her fingers trembling so violently she nearly dropped it. She took it to the balcony, fueled by a primal need to destroy the bridge between her world and whatever this thing was. She threw it. She watched it fall 20 stories. She heard the crack of the porcelain on the pavement below. She retreated inside, locking every window, heart hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. She stayed awake until dawn, watching the door. But the real horror of the Labubu isn't that it's a ghost. It's that it's an idea. And you can't kill an idea by breaking its vessel. As the sun rose, Mei-Lin went to the bathroom to wash the sweat from her face. She looked in the mirror and didn't scream. She couldn't. Her mouth wouldn't open. Her skin had taken on a pale, matte texture. And behind her, reflected in the glass, sitting perfectly intact on the closed toilet lid, was the golden doll. It wasn't a replacement. It was the same one. The cracks from the fall were there, but they were healing, knitting together like closing wounds. The terror isn't that these dolls are appearing all over the world. The terror is why we keep inviting them in. We live in a world so hollow that we've become desperate for anything that feels special, even if that thing is a predator. Across the internet, the stories are spreading. The sudden illnesses, the unexplained fires, the voices in the walls. They say the Labubu doesn't just take your life, it takes your place. Maylene's apartment was found empty 3 days later. No sign of a struggle, no body, just a single golden doll sitting on the pillow. The neighbor who found it thought it was beautiful. She thought it looked lonely. She thought it would look perfect on her own bedside table. And as she picked it up, she felt that same undeniable pull. That feeling that says this one is different. This one is yours. Go to your shelf right now. Look at the things you've bought because they made you feel something. Look at the eyes. Are they watching you? Or are they just waiting for you to fall asleep so they can finally begin? If you feel a sudden chill while watching this, don't ignore it. That's not the wind. That's the vibration. And once you hear it, it's already too late to close the box.